Hey, I'm Liza and welcome to How To Music, your channel for everything to do with the music industry and how you can make a career for yourself as a musician or a songwriter. So today is my first video. I'm going to start right at the beginning, and that's gigs, and I'm going to talk to you through the various types of gigs you can get and how you get them. If we start at the beginning and you are new to this whole thing, but you want to get out there and you want to perform, maybe your own stuff, maybe covers, then I would suggest you either do open mic nights, really to start with, till you're more confident in playing in front of other people. Now, you can go to a whole load of open mic nights in whatever city or town you live in. They are everywhere, and I will put a link below that will take you to, or some links that will take you to listings that are online. But if in doubt, go to the website for your local pub or local bar, and most places have some kind of music going on. We're spoilt for choice in the UK for that. If they don't have any information in their what's going on page, then just give them a call and say, you know, do you have an open mic night, or do you have opportunities for bands to come and play? And if they say no, we don't do anything like that, say, well, do you know anywhere that does? Because anyone that works in a business is going to know their local area and know lots of other pubs that they may well have been to that have live music. Now, when you're doing an open mic night, normally you're expected to do a couple of your own songs and a cover. Some open mic nights have kind of a strict policy about that. Others are more relaxed, and to be honest, if you just call them and say, look, I'm new to this and I just want to, you know, I just want to start with doing some covers, but I'm working on something, then I'm pretty certain that they'll let you do that. Normally the deal is that you turn up on the night at 7 o'clock, maybe a little later, maybe a little earlier. You sign up on a sheet, and it's normally a first come first served basis. Generally it's free to do, and you also don't get paid, but you get some places that are pretty good and they go around with a hat or, you know, a bucket or something, and people give money in at the end. They'll just call you up, they'll ask you in the advance a bit about who you are, they'll call up your name, you'll get up, they'll say, this is Liza Finn, she's from London, she wants to share some of her own music, or she's going to do some covers, and then the floor's yours. In many ways, I think open mic nights are probably the most intense performing you can experience, because your audience is literally like a chair away from you. I think in many ways when you start performing in larger venues, you have some space between them and you, and it can be less intimidating, but it's a really good foundation for starting off on. Now, if you're a band and you've been, you know, practicing hard at home or in a rehearsal studio, and you think you're ready to perform in a music venue or a pub with a stage or a music venue area, then again, go online, research your local pubs, your local bars, and normally they will list, you know, a free band night. Again, you contact the promoter, you contact the venue. Now, sometimes, especially in London, the music nights are not run by the people that own the pubs or own the bars or own the venues. They're run independently by independent promoters on different nights of the week. So one night might be a DJ night, one might be a rock night, another night might be an indie night, another an acoustic. Normally this will be listed on their events page. If not, and you know that they have good band nights on there and you want to get in there, then you have to do a bit of digging. You've got to call up the venue or email them, preferably call them because you just get an answer quicker, and say, look, I've seen that there are these great music nights on, but I don't know who the promoters are, or I do, but do you have a contact number for them? And normally they'll help you out that way. The main thing about performing is it's getting better now, but it's really hard to get promoters' details, and they don't give them out freely. Normally bands are recommended, or promoters have found them, which happens with me more now, where they contact me and say, oh, we've got this venue, we'd love you to perform there, are you interested? So you have to get quite savvy with researching stuff, but I think that will leave you in good stead for the future, to be honest. So that's for your middle of the road gigs. One tip would be, you may love the Purple Turtle in Camden, okay? And you've been there to see bands and it's a great night. Make sure that whatever promoter you are approaching covers your kind of music. Now, it's horrible to pigeonhole people into genres, but you've got to be able to say, I would fit in well on an acoustic night, or I would fit in really well on a rock night. And make sure they cover your music, because a lot of music venues are quite genre specific. So for example, the Purple Turtle tends to be more of a rock venue. The Bull and Gate, that's another kind of famous pub in Kentish Town that has a really great stage. Again, predominantly rock, though I've performed there myself. They do have some nights where they'll have an acoustic act or a perhaps more mellow act open up the evening, and that can be a really great experience for you and kind of help you get popular with the promoters. So that's pretty much like the basic how to get gigs. I think it's about using common sense a lot of the time, but one of the important things I would say is make sure that you are professional, that you look after your relationships with promoters. Even if you live in a big city, okay, most people who are promoters or work in music will know someone who knows someone that knows them, kind of thing. It's a really small knit community, and if you piss off a promoter, if you're a nightmare to work with, if you mess them around, they will tell someone else about that who's a promoter as well, and you'll probably get blacklisted, to be honest, from that venue, and that's the least that you want. And you also don't want a bad name and being associated with being unprofessional. Some people would say, well, you don't need to worry about that when you're starting out. There are venues that I performed at 5 years ago who I can get a gig like that whenever I want, and I can get a headline slot if I want. And that's not just because they like my music and they like what I'm doing, but because I've always been respectful, courteous, I reply to their emails, I arrive on time, I communicate as much with the venue as well and the promoter. Like if you're in a band, for example, and I've done all types. I've been with a guitarist and I did an acoustic act. I had a full brass section and I did a kind of soul, jazz, pop, funk thing for a while. And now I'm sort of like a hybrid of folk and pop. I've kind of done the whole circle of trying different styles, which is what you do when you're creative, till you find what you're happy with. But I have always tried to build my own relationship with the promoter, set myself apart from the other acts that are on the night. They really appreciate that. Being helpful with sharing equipment, sharing gear, which you sometimes have to do. Turning up on time for your sound checks. Look, half the time you'll get there and they'll be late, or it'll start late, or majority of the time you don't even get a sound check. You'll learn about that with time, and you probably to start with will want sound checks to be happy and have a bit of a playthrough. The more experienced you become, the more used you get to just getting up on stage, doing a line check, and doing your set. And that kind of becomes, just the norm, really. If you don't think you can go to a sound check, let the promoter know in advance. And, they do tend to suggest ridiculous times, like, well, you're the last on stage, so you need to be there at 4 p.m. And if you're like me and you have a job, that's just impossible. And I can't afford to take off half a day or a whole day off work, not get paid, to turn up to a sound check. So they're not going to get upset with you. It's just if you're honest at the beginning. Secondly, you get promoters like you get managers, and you get lots of people who are trying to pave their way within the music business who aren't very good at what they do. Sadly, you'll only discover that with time. or by hearing from other bands. But I always take what other bands and acts say with a pinch of salt, because creative people, particularly musicians, are notorious for being a pain in the arse and having egos. So if one person says, oh, this promoter was a complete nightmare and, you know, they pulled us off stage during our set, well, if the promoter had said to that band, look, I have a music license, I will lose that if you play beyond midnight, then you've got to respect that. So, you know, you need to forge your own relationships with people. So if you've got any questions or any queries, I thought I'd start off with just, you know, a classic how to get gigs. I'll do other things in sort of more detail, but if you've got any questions or you've had any experiences yourself, please contact me or leave a comment below. But otherwise, thank you for watching. My name's Liza and this has been How To Music.